Chris Sale. We are pleased to be joined by the White Sox General Manager and Senior VP. And Rick, it's Fran Charles, it's Sean Casey, John Smoltz, and Dan O'Dowd. Let me start with, you have Chris Sale, you had Jose Abreu, who ended up winning the AL Rookie of the Year. You guys have some pieces in place. What should White Sox fans expect for 2015? How far away do you think your team is, and what are their offseason expectations?
You know, I think we're a lot closer than our record showed during the 2014 season. We got to a point midway through the 2013 season where it became a pivot point for our franchise, where we had to start looking at a way to get ourselves back on track as quickly as possible, but in a way that was going to allow us to have some sustained success. I feel like over the last 15, 16 months, due to guys like Chris Sale, like Jose Quintana, adding guys like Jose Abreu, Adam Eaton, Avi Garcia, that we've gotten ourselves in a decent clip, a fairly quick clip, back in a position to contend and then hopefully add to these pieces that we've already put in place over the last year and a half and start that process again in 15.
Rick, you talked about Avi Garcia and and him being a big bat. He missed a lot of games this past season. What do you expect from him moving into 2015 to be that big bat in the middle there with Abreu?
Yeah, you know, he's still just a kid, and we were very fortunate that he was able to come back from the shoulder injury as quickly as he did and play for us towards the last few months of the 2014 season. We view him as the same way as when we acquired him. That is, the potential to be a long-term answer in the middle of our lineup, a multi-tooled player who can beat you with his legs and his arm and his bat. So we're excited to have a fully healthy Avi Garcia added to the mix come opening day of 2015.
Rick, John Smoltz, speaking of health, and I'm a big fan of Chris Sale. I mean, this guy can dominate. We've seen what Midas and Bumgarner could do in the playoffs. You guys get into that position. How do you, and how has he learned maybe to stay healthier for you guys so that you can, if you get in that position, compete and use his dominant left arm for you to be successful?
You know, Chris has had a great process of bringing up his, building up the arm strength over the last few years as he made the transition from college to pro ball and then from the bullpen into the rotation. And a big part of that has been his work with Herm Schneider, our trainer, and Don Cooper, our pitching coach, and his ability to communicate very openly about how he's felt on a day-to-day basis, not just the day after he starts, but a few days in between the starts. That's allowed us to adapt a few times, you know, give him a little extra rest over the All-Star break or an extra day when needed. And as a result, he's been able to become one of the premier lefties in the league, I think. He's got a world of talent. He wants to be the best. I, as you've referenced earlier, think he should be the AL Cy Young Award winner and think it's, frankly, our own fault of the offense and the bullpen that he's not probably at the top of most lists at this time.
Hey, Rick, it's Dan O'Dowd. I hope you're doing well. Hope the meetings are going well out there. Listen, I want to ask you a personal question. You know, you've now been in this role a few years. And what was the transition like for you, the most challenging part of it, moving from the longtime assistant now to the top chair there with the White Sox?
You know what the hardest part was, Dan? It was wanting to do the perfect move and coming to grips slowly that wasn't necessarily walking through that door. Right. Not wanting to do move A because something better might be around the corner and wanting to come up with the move that was going to address our needs in the short term, in the long term, that was going to resonate with our fans, that the scouts were going to like, that the stat guys were going to like, and it was going to make everybody happy. That's just not reality. Those moves are few and far between. You know, we were able to do something like that with Jose Abreu. We were able to do that on a couple other occasions. But more often than not, you got to find a way to move the chains in an aggressive way to get you closer to a championship, even though the move may be imperfect at the time you do it.
Great. Thank you.
And, Rick, you were responsible for the Jose Abreu signing. Just explain a bit of the risk that it was. I mean, 6 years, $68 million. We look back at it now, we say, oh, yeah, it was a great deal because he had a tremendous season. But there had to be some trepidation as well.
Yeah, you know, maybe I get a little bit of credit for that, but that was really a group effort, starting with Jerry Reinsdorf and Kenny Williams and our international scouts, Marco Patti, who spent a lot of time evaluating Jose along with Kenny and others in the front office. It really came down to that we knew it was a risk, but it was a calculated risk. Here was a guy who had proven his ability on the international stage that we were confident would translate to the world's biggest stage. And, you know, I'm not going to lie, there was a few times where we had conversations with Jerry where we had to advocate, look, it's just money. Which, when you say those words and it comes out of your mouth, you quickly want to pull them back. Yeah. But by that By that we meant it wasn't costing us draft picks, it wasn't costing us any players, and here we were getting a potential franchise player for the middle of our lineup through the prime of his career. So we knew it was a risk, and fortunately it was one that Jerry was very comfortable with us taking.
All right, well, the award season has already been great for the White Sox there, with Abreu winning the Rookie of the Year. We'll see if Chris Sale comes up with the Cy Young on Wednesday. Rick, thank you for spending some time with us, and enjoy the rest of the GM meetings in Arizona.
Thanks, I appreciate it.